Welcome to the Voice of Oneness, your call to awaken. This show is your call to awaken to the truth of your being through the teachings of the Voice of Oneness, spoken by Amara. On this show, you will receive spiritual guidance and the teachings of oneness from the heart of spirit directly to your heart, along with the tools and techniques to apply these teachings to your day-to-day life. Tuning in each week, you will grow in a deeper, richer understanding of your true nature as teachings are offered about universal spiritual laws that govern our lives. You will learn the right use and application of these laws to achieve the richest life from the perspective of experiencing abundance in all areas of your life. Amara Bonet is a renowned psychic, spiritual teacher, coach, energy healer, mystic, and gifted visionary who taps into the higher realms to join with the vast collective of source energy. Now, your host of Voice of Oneness, Amara Bonet.
Welcome all to the Voice of Oneness, your call to awaken podcast here on WLTK Talk Radio. Tonight, our theme is living through the lens of oneness. And on this podcast each week, we really strive to present enlightening, uplifting, empowering, thought-provoking information that serves individuals that are seeking to deepen their connection to themselves, to others, and to the world at large. So as part of that intention that we hold, our theme, living through the lens of oneness, opens up a doorway here that we can walk through to examine our life in and through the lens of oneness. We're going to talk about transcending the boundaries of separation, discovering our inherent interconnectedness, the impact of embracing oneness in our relationships, communities, and the world around us, and the infinite possibilities that appear when we view the world through the lens of oneness, through that lens of oneness, rather than through the lens of separation and fear. I want to begin, as I always do, with quotes that relate to the theme. The quotes that I want to begin with here, the first one: all differences in the world are of degree and not of kind, because oneness is the secret of everything. And that quote's from Swami Vivekananda. And the next quote's by Ian A. Gardner. Oneness with God is not a dream. It is the only reality. Everything else is an illusion. And with that, I'm going to open up and turn to the Voice of Oneness team writing that we did for this podcast tonight, as I always do. And there was so much coming through that I had a hard time keeping up. And they told me I was resisting because I kept thinking that there was way too much to fit in a 1 hour program. And as of course, it usually is. There's so much more to be said. So what we do is we hit a basic foundation, a basic understanding, and there's always a deeper connection that we can make and that we do outside of this podcast. And more information can be obtained on my website, voiceofoneness.com. So to begin, it says, we do appreciate your tuning in consciously to us, knowing that we are always in oneness. We are ever one. Yet the human is divided by boundaries of all kinds that exist to cause one to feel alone, isolated, confused. But the time has now arrived for clarity to enter. And this is what we're experiencing right now as our current systems begin to collapse and new birth is given to the energies of which are arising, and those are that which is aligned with the truth of that which we are. We've been in the shadows for a very, very long time. When you examine the physical experience, one is faced with the picturing of duality, polarization of opposites. Such causes are set to capture the mind and occupy it with all sorts of ideas, thoughts, and creations, born of an uninstructed mind. We set out here in this teaching to instruct the listeners in the experiencing of living their life through the lens of oneness. Thus, what one sees, they experience as their reality. While in a physical experience of life, one has the gift of choice, as each person continuously chooses their life experiences, whether they understand what's happening or not. All that we experience through each day of our lives is a series of choices. We're always entering a choice point. How do we move forward? What is it that we want to experience? If we practice life visioning, what is it we want to vision? What is seeking to emerge from within us? What do we want our experience to be? How do I relate to someone who's a difficult personality? That's a choice that we examine and we go through based on the filters that we hold within our own perception, within our own mind. It's what we understand to be. To explain in the simplest terms possible, each person views their world through their own lens containing the filters of past experiences, societal conditioning, personality distortions, collective consciousness, and planetary consciousness. Each person makes their choice based upon what they view and the meaning that they attach to the event or circumstance, based on how they perceive themselves in relationship to what they are viewing, as well as their individual conditioned belief about themselves. So we each hold a belief, we each hold beliefs about who we are. Who we are, what matters to us, our own set of standards, so to speak, our own set of principles, integrity, what matters to us, what we feel is correct for us or not, based on our experiences that we've had thus far in this life and others, and our personality imprint. And as we open up and we start to awaken, we begin to shift the energy of that which we're holding, and we begin to expand. We begin to open up to new possibilities. So as we look at that, we look at boundaries. Boundaries divide and separate us. They keep us apart from experiencing our true nature, which is limitless and boundless, boundaryless divine love. That's our true nature. That's where we are in absolute truth. But we have overlays over that truth that are our beliefs, experience, perception, that which we hold as the foundation for how we live our lives. Most of us are not living life through the lens of oneness. We're living life through the lens of our personality and that which we believe to be true for us until it's no longer true. Meaning that as we open up and we become aware, that truth begins to shift in accordance with what we're experiencing. And then we take on new truths. And we do this over and over and over again. Then we have the absolute truth. And we say absolute truth, meaning the truth of our nature, that which we are, love, created by love, in love, as love, to experience life in the physical form as love. That's in accordance with our true nature. That does not change. It is always the same. Our true nature does not change. Our perceptions change, our beliefs change, our thoughts change, our ideas change, our experiences are ever changing. But absolute truth is what stands when all else falls away. When we return to that point of oneness, and then we move into and beyond. That is when we realize the absolute truth of our nature. But while we're here living a physical life, we can experience glimpses of that, and we can continue to move forward to evolve and our understanding of that which we are. And that is what the awakening is all about. The thought of oneself as a separate being. Now, most of us walking around on the earth today view ourselves as a separate being. We live in separate homes, in separate communities, within separate either states or countries. We have a sense of self that's separate from others. What's me? What's mine? This is what most of us are living through that lens, the lens of separateness. It's part of an illusionary construct. It's been constructed. It's an illusion. Some people refer to it today, and you might have heard of, you're living in a simulation. And these are ways of expressing conditions. But we're not going to get into the simulation model today. The thought of oneself as separate beings is part of the illusionary construct. So it's part of what we're operating within that's been constructed. It is not our absolute truth. If you are separate, you need to protect what you believe is yours. I need to protect myself. I need to be safe. I need to protect my loved ones. I need to protect friends. I need to protect, and the list goes on and on and on. Because it's mine. I need to protect my property. So I have to put a fence around it and protect it. I need to protect myself, my personal space. So I have to put a fence around myself. I've got my space, and I only let those that I choose to enter into that space. So we believe. But in the actual reality of that, we are all connected and impacting one another all the time. We don't have any secrets in the true reality. All is known. But when we're living with an understanding of a separate self, we believe that we protect ourselves. We struggle to always be in that state of consciousness until we eventually wear out over time and surrender to the whole, to God, to infinite intelligence, nature, whatever you call it, matters not. If you are separate, you need to protect what you believe is yours. So you build walls, of which eventually must come down, because they are not aligned in truth, but false beliefs, programming that we need walls to keep out that which could possibly harm us, to keep us in a state of fear, which is the only thing that's harming us, is fear. If we were to take a leap and rise in our vibration from fear and having to protect ourselves and construct walls and boundaries, and there are those people over there and I'm over here and they're different and I have to protect myself from them. If we were to release that fear of others and step into the higher frequency, love, there would be no need for a wall, because we would be operating through the lens of oneness. We would be operating in love. We'd understand that we're all parts of the same whole, and we wouldn't be vying to keep what little we can grab onto for ourselves. We'd willingly share, knowing that there's enough for everyone. We wouldn't have to force our opinions on anyone, nor would we be forced to accept someone else's opinion. We would be open as we would be experiencing ourselves free from fear. There's nothing to protect. There's nothing to divide us. There's nothing to hide from. When we are separate and divided, we are a house divided. A house divided always falls. Unity is what sustains the expression of our life, not division. And we are coming to this awareness as we begin to awaken. We begin to unify. We begin to realize that we've been conditioned and our minds have been, we could use the term hijacked, because we haven't been paying attention and going within ourselves to experience the true nature of our being. We do that once we evolve to a point of awakening. Before that, we're very much in what we can call a survival mode, and that's necessary. That has a purpose. Everything has a purpose, has a place and a purpose. Survival mode has a purpose. And once we're able to make our way in the survival mode and we grow, then we're naturally going to evolve to the next level of awareness. And we're going to move within that, and we're going to grow and we're going to open. And as people who are in survival modes witness love around them and witness others who are not forcing their opinions on others, who are open to experience the interconnectedness of all of life without having to construct a division, without living a separate, with a walled off energy. Then they say, oh, then that's a possibility. It comes into the awareness then that that's a possibility. That now becomes a choice where it wasn't before, because it wasn't known. Once something is known, then it becomes a choice. Then we can step into it. So we have given lessons on this podcast, setting the foundational principles of life. We've spoke a lot about how we are all energy. Everything in all of creation is energy. energy in movement, forward movement. All energy has a vibration. And like vibration is attracted magnetically to like vibrations. Thus, love attracts love, fear attracts fear. Fear attracts fear. So when we are feeling very good, we're in tune with the vibration of love, as we're growing and developing spiritually, in connection to the source that is within us. Say we have a spiritual practice, we pray, we do affirmations, we meditate, we feel really good. And then something happens in our world and it shakes us, it rocks us, it imbalances us for the moment. Then we now step out of that vibration of love and we step into fear. And then we attract to us fear. We attract into our reality the expression of life that brings about fear. An example of that was what we've lived through in the past 3 years. I experienced a sense of isolation and lack of control. And if we're entering into that energy and we don't have a balanced energy of which we are living within, we are very easily drawn deeper into fear. And we experience life by witnessing events, people's behavior, circumstances of which are the result of this fearful energy. And we draw it more into our life experience. And we say, see, there's this controlling force. It's controlling us. We don't have any power. And that is true when one is in fear. But if one can open up and look in the direction of love, that's a game changer. As we do that, we open up more. Then we begin to rise up. We begin to experience now reality in relation to a more loving energy rather than the fear-based energy. So the fear that we're holding within us begins to just, we can say, subside or dissolve, transcended by love, as love transcends fear. So we transcend that energy to a higher frequency and we experience a new reality. So you experience in direct proportion to your beliefs. If I believe I live in a very dangerous world of which there are those that have power over everyone and everything, then that's the life I will experience. And it will show itself to me over and over of how it is true when it is an illusion. But the mind will believe that it's true, it is so, because that is what the mind is experiencing through the lens of fear. Now we want to shift this lens so that we see through the lens of love, of oneness. And it reminds me of when you go and you have an eye exam and you're looking through the lenses and the optometrist clicks the lenses, the different lenses, and says, okay, what do you see now? And then click again, what do you see now? And you begin to see fuzzy, and then you see more clarity, and you begin to see things differently with each click until the right clicks are made for the lenses of which are in resonance with your sight at the moment. That's seeing through a different lens. So when we're seeing through the lens of fear, it just means that's what we're seeing through in the moment. Doesn't mean that's where we stay forever and a day. It means that's where we are in the moment. But we have something called the gift of choice. And we can choose differently and shift the energy and move in a different direction towards the energy of love. And that's what we're doing as we're awakening. That's part of what we're doing. If you believe that you're separate from everyone else and everything around you, you hold as the foundation of your beliefs the energy of fear. Now, there are degrees or levels of fear which result in matching vibratory experiences. As a being who is held in the belief of separation, the use of judgment is an essential element for perceived survival. How we perceive ourselves in order to survive. We use the element of judgment. We look through our physical eyes in judgment. Such a being believes that it must judge everyone and everything to stay safe. This is conditioned within us, going back eons. This is an untruth, however. The lens of fear, this belief is deep within the collective and individualized consciousness. So as individuals, it's within us, within our body system, the cells of our body through experiences that we've had, because we are energy, all is energy. The energy is always in forward movement. We are always working with the experiences that we've had. So we have it collectively and individually. As we see in our world today, the explosion of chaos and disruptive energy that is the result of the distortions of which have been taking place for a very long time, creating the fabric that presented a view of that which is untrue as truth. And that fabric has been torn and it's being shredded as we live and breathe here and now. So eventually it will be torn down completely, which will reveal truth. That which is truth. As this is happening, a little side note, as this is happening, each one of us will be going through our own personal reconciliation within ourselves that may result in memories coming up from the past. Just in an instant, it's in your mind. You'll see a flash of something that happened in the past. It could be the recent past. It could be long ago. It could be a past life. It'll come up and it'll replay like a movie. And we'll see it. And the reason it's coming up is because it is the right time to process that through the lens of oneness. It's time that that may be healed and let go. So it comes up to look at, to reevaluate it, because we've grown. We're in a new place now. We're available to possibilities that we were not available to before as a collective, and as we're opening up and awakening individually. So all that is within us that is not in alignment with that which we are in truth, which is love, is going to present itself. And for some of us, it'll come out in a nice, gentle way. And for others, it'll take us to our knees. But just know that it's part of the process, seeing of the untruths and distortions of which we've been playing along with for a very long time, so that we may awaken now to the true nature of our being, so that we can rise up in love, rise up in unity. And as we do that, it's not like it's a quick in a flash, it happens. It progresses. For most of us, it's slow. Some of us will always have epiphanies and blast wide open, but that's not the majority of us. So we can see it in the world when we start in mass to say no to something that may be happening in our world, in our country. And we stand up and we say, no, this goes no further. And we begin to gather together to unite. And we do so peacefully, but knowing that it's time now for the truth to prevail. And we're going to see that more and more and more. And that's how we begin to evolve. And we come more into a unity consciousness. And that's happening now. The belief is deep within the collective and the individualized consciousness. So it's coming out from our collective consciousness, the soup of which we all draw from and into, and our own individualized expression of consciousness. So as we examine judgment, we use the judgment to make our decisions when we are making them from a more fearful energy. As is written in the Bible, judge not, lest ye be judged. So we want to not judge other people, other places, other things. As we judge something, we condemn it. The condemnation creates the division, separating us further from that which we're judging. When we are in this fear energy, we're not fully in the oneness. We're not fully in that stream of love frequency. We may be flowing within and then out and in and out as we're developing and growing. When we become aware enough, we decide to work on judgment. That can be said to be a good place to begin. Judgment of others, other places, other people, and judgment of self. When we start working on the judgment of others, and we become aware, and we look at someone in our life, and let's say that they're behaving rudely, what we think is rude, they're behaving disrespectfully, they're an angry person, and many times people will say, I don't want to be around that individual because that individual is so negative, they bring my energy down. And that's how the eyes see it, and that's how we feel when we're feeling energy and it's discordant. with our vibration. So people will say, okay, I don't want to be around that person because they are negative. That is a judgment. Judging the person as negative, stating that they are negative, defines them as negative. They are as we are. We are one. No true division exists except in our belief when we are living a life in separation. When we're beginning to awaken, we awaken to there's more to this life than this physical body. I'm not my physical body. There's so much more. I may be having experiences. I may be having dreams. I may be opening up psychically. My intuition may be heightening. I may be experiencing so much more than I've ever experienced before. And that's exciting. And I want to experience that. And that's great. And that's for all of us to do as we evolve. And as we do that and we open up, we become aware of energy that we feel, because now we're feeling more than we did before. And we want to expand and grow in consciousness and connection with the divine of which we are. And we look upon that, depending where we are in our consciousness, our level of awareness, in different ways. What we experience is different levels of awareness. Different levels of awareness is, in truth, what separates us. We are all connected to God. We are all of God, created by God. The presence within us. We can call it God. We can call it infinite intelligence. We can call it nature. We can call it love. We can call it the field. Whatever we need to call it does not change that which it is. It simply is. And it simply is love. Nothing outside of that. There's no vengeance. There's no wrath. There's no anger. There's no destruction. That's all the play in the stories of our mind and our own conditioning. That is not absolute truth. Love is love, is love, is love, is love. We are that. We are in the process of awakening to the fullness of that. And as we do, we journey through life interrelating with that. And we make choices that take us either deeper into or a little bit further away. If we made choices that take us a little bit further away, it simply means that we will come to the opportunity to self-correct and move back in the direction of going deeper in the presence of that which created us. Everyone in their own way, in their own time. Not everyone at this time of this great awakening is going to awaken. Everyone must choose. Everyone must decide the path of which they walk in this life. And that's the beauty of it. We get to experience ourselves as all things. And that hurts the finite mind to think, oh my gosh, I can experience myself as something that one would call evil at some point in my expression of life in a different lifetime, if I'm one now on a spiritual path. But we get to experience ourselves as all things. And in that, we make choices and we evolve. And we have within us inherently the spark of oneness. So we are always seeking to move closer in the direction of our oneness. We know love. Whether or not we're experiencing it or not doesn't matter. We know it. And sometimes we can get to such a dark place within us that we feel we can't connect to love. But we still know love. We still want to connect to love, but it inverts itself. And then we connect more to the darkness because we need to connect. So we go deeper away from our evolving state of unity consciousness of love. And we kind of de-evolve and we go further away from the light. But the light never goes out. And eventually, we return. We return. That which we have come from, we will always return to. We just don't know when that will take place because it's an individual journey within a collective expression. So as we look at someone who we're feeling is a negative vibration that takes us down, if we hold this understanding and we hold that we are one, that we come from the same source, and that we're at different levels of awareness. You could say different levels of consciousness, different levels of awareness. So because we're at different levels of awareness, we're experiencing a different frequency. Our energy is vibrating at a different frequency. We may be lower down the scale, more deep into the trenches of fear, or we may be rising up in love to reach an enlightened state of being. I remember as a spiritual counselor, I don't know if I told this story before, but I might have, and I'm going to just briefly go into it. I was working with someone and they had left the office. And then I was speaking with my team in spirit. And I said, I just don't understand the degree of the fear. I can't connect to what it feels like to be so despondent. And you know, when they say, be careful what you ask for? Well, in a flash, my consciousness went deep and dark, boom, like I went down a tunnel. And it went down and it was so dark, so horrific that I screamed to get out of that consciousness. It was, I can't even put into words how dark it was. I was brought back out. This all happened in a flash. The team said to me, what you just experienced is the consciousness of one who's about to shoot up an elementary school. And I did not know what to do with that information at that time. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I called another fellow spiritual teacher and, you know, went and spent the day with her to try to calm me down. That happened years ago. And it happened at the time of what was soon thereafter known as the Sandy Hook shooting. So how did I experience the depth of that consciousness? I was able to experience that depth of consciousness because we are all one. We are all connected. We are all interrelated. We're not all experiencing the same thing at the same time, but we have the capacity to tune into it. We have the capacity within us to connect to. when we focus with intention, boom, laser focus, and we experience it. That day, that experience was a laser focus of that, what was going on. Okay, we've got something here. Spam. We got spam on the comments. I apologize for that. We'll have to take care of that later. Okay, if you're trying to comment and you can't get through, you can send your comment to me at amora@amorabonet.com, and I will respond to your email. So we have the capacity to tune into anything in all of existence. We can tune in and experience it. Some of us do this in the dream state because it makes sense to us that the dream state is just a dream. I can do it. I can experience what it's like to be a ballerina or whatever it may be. That just popped into my head. So we can have that experience and we can live it in a dream, or we can live it in a waking state if we connect to it. So we have to be aware of how deeply we're connecting to something. What do we know about our energy? Where we place our attention, that's where our energy flows. The more we connect to something, the deeper the connection goes. So if we're connecting to the news from our mainstream media, which is hijacking our minds at every turn, and if that's where we're placing all of our attention, then that's where we're going to go within our consciousness. We are going to be deep in the field of fear. And we're going to experience our life and make our choices through that lens. And that does not feel good. And we know it doesn't feel good. And it doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. All we need to do is to take our focus from that and place it on that which is uplifting, empowering, inspiring, that which takes us within ourselves to that deeper connection. So when we judge ourselves or another, we create that divide and we lock down that energy until we come to the deeper understanding of our true nature and oneness. As spoken so eloquently by the late Martin Luther King, when he said, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools." We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. We're here now. Our feet are on this earth. We have breath within our body. We're breathing. Our lungs are filled with air. Our minds are flowing. We hold the capacity to tune in to the infinite. If we make that choice, if we begin to focus in the direction of love, looking through the lens of oneness, shifts everything, changes how we relate to one another, changes how we relate in relationship to our spouse, our partner, our employer. We begin to see with expanded view, resulting in acceptance, patience, kindness, generosity. Those are the virtues that we want to embrace. That's the true nature of our being. That's love. That should be for each of us self-evident when we realize that that's the experience we receive when we align with love, when we release the judgment. Now we say, well, as I'm living in life, yes, there are people, we can call them bad people, some people say. It's people with bad behaviors, people who are not of an awareness that there is love available for them. They are deep in fear. We recognize it. We choose not to participate in it. We choose to put our attention on love. So we hold within us, may they experience the love that is theirs with God's speed. And then we change direction and we look towards that which is uplifting. That is how we work with it. So someone's with very difficult personality, very negative, say, may they open up to receive the love that is for them, that's here for them, that is within them and around them, as it is within and around me and all others. May they do so with Godspeed. Doesn't mean that I'm going to join them tonight at the dinner table. It means that I know within me that they are evolving just as I am evolving. But right now, they are choosing to act in an ill manner, one that is not beneficial to the whole. They are growing, they are learning. So we realize that. And we hold within us the higher road. So that uplifts because we are all connected. It creates more of that field, that vibration in the collective, which is what we're going to be experiencing as we have the breakdown of that which is not truth. When one judges, they condemn to limited perspective. This gives the illusion of truth, believed by the individual or group. Yet it is far from a divine absolute truth, that we are limitless and inherently free. Limitless and inherently free. Energy is eternal. It is neither destroyed nor created. It comes into form and out of form. It is transcendent. We are energy in form, whose time has come to take down the walls, little by little, through the understanding of who we are in absolute truth. We are one from the same source, God, infinite creator, infinite intelligence, nature, whatever you wish the name to be, it matters not. It simply is. When an individual begins to awaken, their consciousness expands and they see differently. Oh, there's more to life. A great shift takes place and new ideas, thoughts, perceptions arise. A willingness to experience life in wholeness, in a new way. This ignites stirring from within, from the core of our being, to explore, expand, empower ourselves and others through new energetic expression of life, of which infinite cosmic potentials refer back to the episode from last week or the week before, of which we discussed cosmic possibilities. We are cosmic possibility. As this occurs, boundaries are shattered, walls come down, hearts open, fear loses power, love prevails, one individual at a time awakens. Thus, the shift impacts every area of one's life. Relationships take on new energies. The potential for leveling up is great. This is the opening of the heart to the oneness of life. More is always yet to come. And with that, I want to share a question that someone had presented to my community, and the Voice of Oneness answered. And it's very fitting for this topic of living life through the lens of oneness. The question reads, why do I struggle with my physical imperfections? Why do I struggle with my physical imperfections? I am loved by many and generally happy, but when I see others who go to great lengths to enhance their appearances, I feel so inadequate. How can I better love myself for being me and grow old beautifully? The response, dearest tender heart, we wish to begin by saying that you are so loved and seen clearly as beautiful from our perspective. Now it is your perspective of which we are to examine. We have addressed you as a tender heart, as you are one who is so tuned to the energies of the heart. You feel so deeply. We want you to understand that your current viewing of yourself is only the result of beliefs that you hold about yourself that are not in resonance with your soul's perspective. As a very sensitive individual, you can sense this in an area where you hold energy in the form of thought patterns that do not support your true beauty. While it is wonderful that you are able to receive the love offered to you through those around you, it is the love and acceptance of self that you feel is lacking, and that this results in your feelings of inadequacy. We will say to you that the lack of love and acceptance of which you are holding within you for yourself is projected outwards onto others and mirrored back to you. Although in your mind you assume your feelings of inadequacy have to do with the viewing of others who appear in your eyes to have enhanced or restated their physical appearances according to their beliefs. So we have judgment. Meanwhile, you are holding on to old beliefs about you and have not yet chosen to release these beliefs. Therefore, you are unable to accept others' choices freely because you have not accepted your own. This, for you, is very important to understand, as you want to be free of judgment and to be allowed to live as you choose. For this to come about, you must allow yourself to realize your truth and beauty and release others from your judgment. Allow others to exercise their right to do as they choose with their bodies. Realize there is a greater part of you that is aware that you are loved just as you are, and that there exists no true need to enhance your appearance. But there is also a part of you that is held by judgment. You are also aware that although someone may choose to enhance an outer appearance, this action does not enhance their inner understanding or shine forth their true beauty. You value the inner beauty, but have not yet grown in this awareness. You are feeling inadequate. Thus, the wanting to expand your consciousness to a deeper understanding of your true beauty through acceptance and loving of self. The love of self is achieved through the realization of your divine nature, accompanied by the development of a deep understanding of greater spiritual truths. You are a divine being created by love, through love, as love, to be love. You are working on embracing this knowing, and as such, you are being made aware of beliefs held in your subconscious that are holding you away from experiencing your true knowing. You see, your feeling of inadequacy really has nothing to do with anyone or anything outside of you. How you view yourself is reflected in the world. You see others' choices as reasons for you to doubt your value, to measure your worth against appearances of which are false. This is the beautiful way your soul guides you along your path to deeper understanding. You recognize discontent within yourself and wish it to be resolved. You know you do not truly wish to judge anyone and have not realized you're judging yourself harshly. To approach your current thought with a loving heart and openness, to step deeper into acceptance of who you are, we suggest that you practice visualization and affirmation. Although there are many ways on working, increasing your inner awareness of self-love and acceptance, we feel these techniques are best for you now. We want to say that the power of your mind is strong, and that when you focus your energy and set your attention to achieve and stay with the process, success is guaranteed. Now, as you move more into alignment with your truth, your energy shifts, resulting in your reality shifting in the likeness and moving into greater understanding and increasing acceptance and self-love. Know that there is ever greater awareness to be achieved around each bend along the path of life. Your beauty is always present within you, and it is realized by you. It is then reflected by you out into the world and mirrored back to you to see and to feel. You are ready to accept yourself as a divine, beautiful expression of love that created you in all of creation. Turn your eyes now away from the viewing of others and place them upon yourself. Here's an exercise to do. Do this in the morning and before falling asleep. Continue for 21 days. You may choose different visualizations. So I'm going to go ahead and give this brief meditation here so that anyone who desires so may review this recording and participate in this activity for 21 days and see how it impacts your life experience. Please close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths, feeling each breath as it fills your body with all the air you need to feel satisfied, safe, and supported. So you breathe in deeply, hold, and release. And then breathe in deeply, hold, and release. And then you breathe in deeply, hold, and release very gently. Next, call to your mind a vision of beauty, so intense that you can feel its essence in your body. Liken this feeling to a sense of awe at the majesty of such beauty. So something that touched you so deeply that you hold in your memory. You call on that memory. This beautiful imagery may be in the form of your choosing, but the person, place, or thing chosen must represent majestic beauty. Sit with this beauty held in your mind for at least 5 minutes. More if you choose. So you're just viewing that and feeling it, placing yourself within that picture as best you can. Nothing forced, just very gentle. Just imagine you're there. Notice the details. Soak it all in. Then say to yourself, with the power of knowing it to be so, I am this beauty. This beauty is in me. I am all that is beautiful. I am love. I am loving. I am loved. I accept love and beauty as my divine heritage. And so it is. Take a deep breath in, release, and then open your eyes. Practice affirming your beauty and holding thoughts within your mind that validate your worth and beauty, allowing any thoughts of the contrary to float on by without your attention. Enjoy your practice. Your beauty is ever increasing. Much love, the voice of divine oneness. So it is for us to choose which lens do we want to view our life through. Each of us has that gift of choice. Each of us must take action. We choose, we act, we experience. As we are joining together in unity consciousness, as we are awakening. And so it is. May you choose peace, love, and the explosion of your inner wisdom to provide for you and all around you. The love frequencies that uplift, empower, inspire, and awaken. And so it is. Thank you for sharing this podcast with me. Good night.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.